I think you're going to find them very, very revealing because I can back up everything I say with documents and records and proofs. So that's the difference I have with some of the people out there that tell their stories of what planet on the moon they went to, or if you want to call it that. But there's too much truth out there for people to cloud it up with their own make-believe stories. Let's stick with the truth. So that kind of lets you know. Hopefully that next book will be out, and I'll have both of you, Bill and TJ, to help me get it out there real quick. So
Bill,
that's where I'm at, waiting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Yes, and now, folks, we're going to explain, and I need Bill to help me because he's got the book called The Open Walk, and I feel halfway responsible for that because we were doing this radio show, and we were more open-minded and getting a lot of naysayers coming in, but also the fact that we were doing spiritual science, and we went back to all the world religions and all those that have disappeared, believe it or not. There's been world religions that disappeared. And then I have the ancient cultures, ancient origins, ancient culture origins. But I have many topics through the last 20 years. And we have the pyramid. We're going to promote pyramid, the Global Pyramid Conference that Marta Thomas brings back out of Chicago. So we'll be helping her. We've really combined a lot of people in the ACO, our Alien Contact Org, our American Communication Online, but it became a brand with the ACE Folklife, and now we've got to figure out how to break it down into various tracks that we can possibly present at a conference, including UFO, secret space, and it may be a little different track than a lot of people are trying to follow. But if you'll notice that with Corey Good and Emery Smith, Emery worked, at least in my reality, with Dr. Stephen Greer and for many years, following the Dr. Stephen Greer track. And that also came about because that was a controlled track, our history, our historical account. Now, Dr. Michael Sala has his, and I really like his voice. He's come on here, and he was going to help me with the William Tompkins, and he's writing his own book, I believe. And we may do, Ken and I may do one and pick up from there. So we're going to give you our best information that we can recall living in this reality. And then there's the other side. Now, the science fiction and fantasy side is sometimes what we call, and the government likes this, because of the remote viewing and the conscious mind that goes into the conscious, subconscious, superconscious, or some people say 5, beta, alpha, theta, delta, gamma, but we've added to 7 sigma and tau with the extraterrestrials. And so a lot of people want us to talk more about the metaphysical than the woo-woo, and some people put the metaphysical in with the woo-woo in the New Age, and because you go into a library, right? Now this is your term to talk, Bill, but you know, when we go to Amazon, and now they've gone direct to Kindle, for those of you guys that need to transfer your books, please do so. Transfer your books from Create Space and as the publisher through Amazon over to Kindle Publishing, please, because that's what they're doing. But, Bill, you're more up on that, and we're going to start doing everybody's channel, so please check out Richard Dolan Member's channel, but also check out Stephen Greer, see if that resonates with you, Dr. Stephen Greer, or Dr. Michael Sala, PhD, okay? And imagine everybody's so busy writing their own books and finding out their own research, they don't have time to talk to the people unless they're going to these conferences and speaking and selling their books. So it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And if you're into the Christian world, look at your TV evangelism, and what are they doing? Selling books and CDs and asking for donations. So I don't see what the problem is. We're all getting education and communication out there. So over to you, Bill. Clean this up for me here.
Okay. Yes, by the way, that transitioning over from Create Space to Kindle is a very easy and painless process. I took care of mine just a few days ago, actually a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, that's done. So like TJ said, if you have a book out there that you put out there with CreateSpace, then and you haven't done that, then it's don't be intimidated. Just go take care of it. Just follow the links that they give you, and because they should send you email about it with a link to go take care of it. Just take care of it. But yeah, self-publishing is pretty much easier now than it ever has been in all of our history. So Amazon makes it fairly simple, and it's you can end up with good quality books. That's important too. Is make sure your work is quality. Just slap it together. You put a little work into it, and you'll be rewarded for that work. I am.
What about helping us between the autobiographies versus the science fiction version, or the truth split it in with a few pictures from Mars? But remember, NASA, where did you get the pictures from Mars? Did you take them yourself? And if you didn't, who has handled them? So do your forensic, and that's what I was trying to tell. The first guy that came into this reality was Ionio Matteo from Italy, and the television over there. So as far as I'm concerned, the first Mars anomaly group was in Italy and television over there before it came to the States, okay? But that's in my reality, on my Mandela effect, because he was the first one that got in contact with me about it and wanted my help with all my websites and my putting it in the internet. And I think he was sent through via the State Department's what I think, but who knows? Or some of the guys that in NSA or whoever controls the internet nowadays, because I know what happened to me on Google, and they wouldn't let me tell him no, and that I had to help him. And I had been having to translate. My Italian's just, when I traveled the world, whether it was French, Italian, German, or whatever, it was just military layman lessons, get you in and out, order food, change the money, in and out of country. So I didn't learn a lot. It's just a get in and get out. But anyway, there's so much. This is so multi-layered, folks. Please know that we're going to get information out to you. It's going to be as we can, when we can, because we all have busy lives. But there are many levels to this traveling with extraterrestrials with Ken Johnston and Theresa Morris and Bill M. Tracer. There's the other side, the consciousness side, and we're going to bring on Ira Pastors has agreed to help us. But there's a whole lot of people in this ACO and this Authors Club and the Ascension Center. And you notice David Wilcock is taking you full circle back to where he began with the Ascension. And we had a whole Ascension level, and that's not New Age. That is back in the day with the people that lived it. There's truth to that, too. There's a whole reality to that, to back to the 80s. Of course, we had Ascension on all that, but we can do a whole study on that. But even Bill M. Tracer made us some banners for this show and for that track. But let's get back. We've got about 5 minutes here, guys. Ken, do you want to come back and do this show every Friday for a while? See if you can remember you want me to call you, or what are we going to do? No more car wrecks. No more car wrecks.
I was just going to say the same thing. I think I'll probably, it sounds like it'd be a good experience, not just for me, but hopefully the people that we will get to talk to and get to present the information, they can make some contact with me and help me bring up some more information, and then we'll get it out to the world. And it's time. 2 years ago, I started claiming we are now getting into time of full disclosure. Now I'm hearing a lot of people using the same expressions, so maybe I wasn't too far wrong. So, I'll be more than happy to do it, and we'll do our part on disclosure.
Well, everybody has to disclose to themselves based on the truth they find out that fits, based on findings of fact. Now, where you get those findings of fact, you need to document date, time, etc., if it's important to you. So you've got the internet, you have a cell phone, if you don't get one, and get yourself inside the internet, which is a virtual reality, folks. It's a virtual reality. It really is. But believe it or not, my kids now that have all cell phones and they're taking them to school, they're letting kids keep those in schools these days, and it's causing a lot of bullying that the parents don't know about. My own granddaughter, Kaylee, has had to go through that, and it's been very upsetting to a lot of people and here in Gulf Breeze, and there's a big ruckus about bullying in schools with cell phones, and boys and girls, and their chromosomes or hormones is, at that age they're in puberty, and they need to be listening to their teachers. So, we need to have education one night on what really is happening in these schools and with the technology, because we can't live without it, but what's it doing? So there's the reality that we went from paper-based to electronic-based, digital, and we've all lived through it. But what is this doing, crossing one reality so fast into the present day for our children? And now, real quickly, we're going to go, but Ken, real quickly, you're working with like Sea Cadets, like I did in Waukegan or Chicago when I was with the Navy, or who are you working with? Air Force people?
I've been involved with working with the youth all my life with the scouting programs and OIP, and right now after the Marine Corps, and then have wound up being invited to join the Civil Air Patrol, which is an auxiliary of our Air Force, and work with the youth. They from the ages of 12 years old up to 21, and this is to teach them how to set goals and the whole part of space as well as search and rescue. We're doing. You don't hear much about it when the airplane goes down someplace or somebody gets lost at sea, and we've got Civil Air Patrol people that are flying around and helping do the search. You don't hear much about us, but if you do the research yourself and find out, it's been here since Pearl Harbor, and so it's a great program, and I'm pleased to be a part of it. I'm a lieutenant colonel, and it doesn't hurt much to get down with the kids and help them set goals and learn things. So I'm real proud of that.
Well, good. And folks, this traveling with extraterrestrials is going to get real. But at what level of full disclosure you are, that's the level you're going to get. So pay attention to reality, and then you decide which one is autobiographies versus science fiction. Because apparently at these conferences I've never been to, this is happening. It has crossed over from people following their spiritual guidelines to world religions to the catch-all, which I was guilty of, and I have a logo where I had the Ascension Center in Hawaii, and that was back in '93. I think I filed it legally as a nonprofit organization in Honolulu, Hawaii, Theresa J. Thurmond. And I'm sure I had a federal ID on it. It may still be there, but I had that. And back in the 80s, we went through Unity Church and the Gold Pyramid with me and Stephen Halpern, and he was the godfather of a certain type of music. So none of this is new, and it has a historical value, and we'd like you to take it to the myths and legends and folk life you've heard, and you can record it for free and document it with the Smithsonian Institute, and look up ACE, ACE, and ACO, and we will be getting back with you every week here. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Ken. And Ken, I hope if you want to come on Fridays, we're going to travel with extraterrestrials, folks, and we can get the other side. And he wants to do past life regression, and also a little just to see what he remembers. Bill M. Tracer, thank you so much. He represents our Authors Club and the Mid-South Con and radio right here with TJMRCT Radio. And more importantly, we are sponsored by American Communications Online out of Gulf Breeze, Florida. Thank you, everybody. we will be back here tomorrow night with Bill M. Tracer. And Ken, you're welcome to come tomorrow night. Bill, do you have